Welcome back to the Unanimous Decision Podcast. I am your host, D-Palm. Follow me on Blue Sky at DPalm66. Follow me on Instagram at DPalm66. Follow all the MTR Network at, you guessed it, the MTR Network. You found us. Don't you dare lose us. Subscribe on iTunes. Subscribe on Spotify. Subscribe on YouTube. That's right. We're a video product now as I drag this podcast into 2017. We're always brought to you by Daniel Palm Mortgages, my day job. If you can pay your rent, you can pay a mortgage. It's my job to help you qualify. Make sure you do me a huge favor and slide on over to the other YouTube channel I have or Spotify link. You may find Life, Love, and Real Estate. We are 7 episodes in. We're doing these kind of every 2 weeks. Myself and one of my realtor partners are sitting down talking about how all these things are interconnected and how preparing for one, how to prepare for the other. And I talk about preparation. I talk about being ready, but I've got a guest on where I can't prepare. I can't be ready. It's back. It's Friday. It's Felder. What up, Felder?
What's going on, big dog? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Got through the winter. Got through the draft. Got the family. Everyone's kind of in place right now. How are you doing? You got this is the end of your busy season.
I'm tired as hell.
Because it's you, we haven't talked in a while. I did leave a free space, but I do have a topic I want your specific expertise on after you use your free space. So, what's on your soul today, Felder?
I got career day coming up tomorrow. We're a one-car family.
I want to be there so bad.
And what that means for career day, my wife's she got to get her Happy Meal ass up and got to take me to the school. And I'm gonna drag my wagon in with my monitor and my computer. And so here's my plan for career day. Let me know if you think this is a good plan. It's career day, right? Like there's
time out. What's the target age of our?
We're talking about 4th and 5th graders.
All right, cool. I'm with you.
So we're 4th and 5th grade. What are we talking about? 10, 11, 12?
Nah, you're talking 9 and 10.
9 and 10, 9, 10, 11. Okay, fine.
11 just about end of the year. 11 too. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Fuck, I don't give a shit. So we're going in, and I'm gonna go in, and my goal is to really dunk on everybody else for career day and make sure that I have the best career explanation. But the other part of it is I want to show them the behind the scenes. So my goal is I'm actually working on this right now. I'm going to cut a video that shows me being on. You have Max?
I have Max, yeah. I watched you. Hey, look, I supported the team. I watched you. Yeah. I don't watch, for the record, I don't watch the draft anymore. It's not my job anymore. I watched you. You got my streams.
How was it?
It was great. Yeah. On the background, it was Sunday, so we're doing shit around the house, so I'm just walking around doing stuff. But you were on in the background constantly.
Me on Max, me, the person that's going to be standing in front of these kids, I'm on Max.
Do you get to go first? Because all the other parents would be pissed.
No. They have separate tables.
Okay. I was like, a speed dating type thing. I got you.
So I'm on Max. You get to see this. These kids know that they have this at their house, right? Like, they know they have this at their house. So I'm on Max. And then I'm going to show a quick clip of that.
Okay.
Just 15 seconds, 20 seconds of that. And then I shot a video of our control room. Everyone behind the scenes, lighting, audio. I was like, it takes so you see 4 people on screen.
Right.
There are 35 people that make this go. And I want to show them that there are so many careers in this industry that aren't on camera. Hair, makeup, whole deal. And I want to show them that. And then I'm going to cut that video together. It should be only 45 seconds. And then after that, because they're having rotating groups going through.
Yeah.
I want to have them. I'm charging my camera right now, but I'm going to take my microphone. I'm going to take the headphones, the whole deal. And I want them to, I'm going to try to get the kids to shoot their own video for the elementary school. And then I'll cut it and we'll show them their video on screen. How's that sound?
The other parents are going to hate your guts.
It's why?
It's perfect, though, because you're dunking on. Like I said, your goal was to dunk. Congratulations, I confirmed the dunk.
Yeah. What are we doing? Like, I'm gonna bring some lights. Like what are we doing? Like,
what? I'm now. I wish I hadn't giving you this space because now I'm super curious. What do other parents in this class do? Like, what are we talking about? Like, what's your competition?
What, like the CFO for
I know you scout.
Yeah, well, of course. The CFO for the Charlotte Hornets.
I count money, dog. It's boring.
We got some other. I mean, I could pull up the emails, but like,
no,
you're
good. You're good. I just want to make sure that
real estate agent. Like, that's not a knock on it. I'm just saying,
no knock, but nothing else that's going to allow the children to be interactive with what you do.
Well, I don't think
you can't be like, let's go show a home together, kids. That's not going to work.
No, here's the thing for me. It's that I want them to have an experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for other people, it's just like them talking to a kid. And mostly talking down to a kid.
Directly down. Yeah.
And I want these kids to feel involved. I want them to feel like I care and that it matters. And I think that's a big part of what this is for me. But now then I'm going to have to put all this stuff into a wagon. As I said, we're a one-car family. I'm going to put this into a wagon, walk it half a mile up the road to my wife's school, put it in the car, and then drive the car to go meet my brother so we can sign our we got some legal stuff we got to sign, and I got to do all that to get back to just being where I want to be, which is at home.
Right. Hey man, that's you that's a very good bar you set for career day.
Yeah.
Normally I have notes. I have no notes. This is great.
Yeah,
this is fantastic.
I think it's gonna be cool. Like, I think we have like a cool thing going on. I'm gonna bring a microphone. I'm gonna bring the headphones. I'm gonna bring I'm gonna bring all the stuff that we need to make this work and get it done. And I think that they're gonna like it. And I think that my goal to win.
Yes.
Yeah. Fuck yes.
Yeah.
My goal is to win career.
Is it Savannah's class?
No. This is other kids. Because she's only in first grade. This is like fourth and fifth grade.
So you're here to create a groundswell of Savannah, your dad's so cool. Like that, she's gonna catch that when she leaves. That's cool. That's very cool.
Oh yeah. You know your boy. Listen, I'm HOTTOGO. This boy is hot.
You in this Chapel Roan, man. My goodness.
She's dope, dude.
She's fine.
Fine.
Listen, I gave it a shot. I gave it a spin. It's not my speed. It's just not for me. But I'm glad you found this thing to speak. I'm glad you got your summer musically lined up.
My summer this is like when The Weeknd came out. When The Weeknd had I Can't Feel My Face When I'm With You.
Okay, so for me, The Weeknd was like, I was like, and this is just dating myself. I was mixtape weekend. I was like the House of Balloons, like those three like mixtapes. I was like, oh, that's my shit. And then he got all big. I was like, But yes, I know what you're talking about. There are times when like an album drops or it hits your life. And in the summer,
basic. I'm basic.
This is my summer.
I'm basic. Okay? I'm basic. Everybody knows that. I'm basic. I am BASICK basic. I'm basic. I'm so basic.
If a song's got a cheerleader ass chorus, you're like, I mean, this takes you back to childhood.
Well, think about this. And this is something that people don't think about because you play football. I play football.
I did.
So when you weren't on the field, what were you listening to? Because I know it wasn't the fucking marching band. It was the cheerleaders that were standing right behind you.
I hated cheerleaders. I found it so. If I'm trying to listen to my coach and you cheer, and we all shut the fuck up, please, for like 5 seconds.
Listen. Scotsman in the front. Let me hear you grunt. Scotsman in the middle. Let me hear you sizzle. Scotsman in the rear. Let me hear you cheer. Do it. Do it. Do it. You kidding me?
I wasn't. And the thing is, I've had to come to this in my big ass age of 39, where it's like
30. I'm 40.
But I realized that my interaction with football is not only atypical, it may have been wrong. Like football and fun for me have never gone hand in hand.
Oh, it's not fun. Football's not fun.
But people have, like, I have teammates who were like, oh, I went to this college tailgate. I go, for what? That's not football. That's just sitting in the parking lot eating. And so I don't like, there's aspects of the fan experience that I don't get it.
I don't either. That's what I'm saying though. The deep home. That's what I'm saying.
Cheerleaders, you're in on.
The cheerleaders, like after I've got done with a drive, right? We get somebody out 3 and out, and we're watching our offense go play. I'm talking about high school right now.
Yeah.
Or middle school even. We're watching our offense go play. Because you know your boy's a pureblood.
I didn't have the privilege of being a pureblood in high school, my friend.
I'm a pureblood. In high school,
turn around and do it again.
No. High school, pureblood. I only played defensive back. Safety and corner.
I was line, baby. There was no hang out with the cheerleaders. It was I'm playing all
I didn't hang out with the cheerleaders.
No, I'm saying hang out in a place where I could hear the cheerleaders.
I was sat down on the bench.
I got punt team off.
I sat down on the bench. See, I didn't get punt team off.
You got offense off. Let me cuss you out, please.
I got punt team off.
Okay.
Or excuse me, I got offense off, but I was on punt team. I was on punt return. I was a jammer and a gunner.
I was clean. I got to get off the field for punt and punt return, except for when we do like alert punt return, where it's like keep the defense on the field. No, yeah. That's how I blocked my only punt.
I was an L3 on kickoff. But no, but like when it was offense was on, and especially if they had a good drive, I'm just sitting there and I'm sitting on the bench, like just drinking Gatorade, like, and they always had purple, and I wanted the blue, and that
everyone wants blue.
Everyone wants blue. Glacier Freeze, come on, dude, that's the best.
Come with the real.
Come on, be for real. Don't be serious. Give me that Glacier Freeze.
Be serious. I like that.
And I could just hear like behind us, it would be like, HOTTOGO, the Eagles are hot to go. HOTTOGO, the Eagles.
Do her fans know that's a cheer? Do her fans think that she made that shit up? Because I don't think there's a
That's the thing. They do. They think she made it up. There are some people that think she made it up. And I'm like, yo, you don't realize that this is a thing I heard. But let's go back to 1999. When I was in high school. Let's go back to 1998.
I'm saying middle school.
When I was in middle school.
Yeah.
Like I just said, Scotsman in the front. Let me hear you grunt. Scotsman in the middle. Let me hear you sizzle. Sizzle, 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 sizzle. Scotsman in the rear. Let me hear you cheer. Do it. Like they were doing body rolls in 1997. Like, what are we talking about? Like, she didn't make it up. She just brought it to a bunch of nerds.
But there's no nerd football. Oh, there is now. But like traditionally, the nerd football circles have found very.
Those are the people that tell us that marching band is cool. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? I never heard the marching band in my life.
Depends on where it is.
I never heard of march. Yeah, sure. If you're at HBCU,
that's all I'm saying.
But I never heard a marching band in my life. I never heard the marching band ever. Why?
Because we would go to all the Clark games. So I would every Saturday. I'm at the CAU marching band.
No, I'm not. I'm not facetious.
You're exaggerating.
I'm exaggerating. We went to see A&T games.
Yeah.
Right? Like I went to see North Carolina A&T games, and I saw them play the Battle of the Bands and the whole deal and FAMU and all that.
For me growing up, it wasn't going to games. My dad's in the Hall of Fame at Clark. Like, it was every weekend on Alumni Hill with all the old heads hearing about how it used to be. Like that's how I.
What I'm saying is, as a football player.
Right. Oh.
I never heard the marching band.
No.
You know where I was? I was in the locker room getting yelled at by a strong man.
Let's hold on. Before I have a lot to ask you about particular locker rooms, particularly the UNC locker room. Before we do the thing that's dog, you texted me like, "Hey, can I come on?" Like, you knew what we were talking about.
I text you, "Can I come on?" We were texting, and then I said, "Do you want me to come on?" This is different.
Before we get into the shit that I'm going to talk to you about, and why I didn't talk to you on Monday, because I wanted to give you some space to breathe on it. 100 Men versus a Gorilla has taken over the internet.
Yeah, I know.
You're my most delusional friend.
Bro, that gorilla going to beat the shit out of us.
Thank you, dog. I'm like, dog, y'all need to relax.
Here's the thing. I think that you want to hear my reality?
Well, time out. For people who don't know, who aren't chronically online, like a week and a half ago, someone posited the hypothetical of could 100 men kill a gorilla? And how do I put this? There has been an influx of alabaster confidence that has them saying, "Oh, as long as we've got these type of guys, we'll be fine. Unless the guys you're talking about have guns, you're all fucked."
Bro, if you don't have a gun, but here's the thing, there's a hand-to-hand combat. So there's no guns, no knife, no pitchfork,
and most importantly, on the side of the gorilla, zero fear. That fear you got in you when you watch the first dude get clapped, that fear that hits the wave of 99 other men, don't happen to the gorilla.
So here's the thing I think about when I look when I've been looking at because my Instagram keeps serving me this in my algorithm.
I can't imagine why.
Because I love it. If it's 100 of me, we might have a shot. But it's 100 of them.
They said the average man's like 5'9".
A 5'9" guy, like, because I'm not big. You've seen me. I'm not big.
No.
What am I? Oh, excuse me. I'm 5'11" and change. I weigh 200 pounds. I'm not super strong anymore. I used to be, but not now.
There was a time.
I don't want to be super strong anymore. Like, are you kidding me?
There's no point.
I still do power cleans though.
You're an idiot.
What?
I haven't done a power clean or a front squat since I graduated college. Since my last lift before my last game. I remember doing a front squat and said, I will never do that again. I will never front squat again. I will never hang clean again.
I do front squats. I do clean and push.
Jerk? No.
Clean and push. I still do those with kettlebells.
That dog, I wouldn't do them with no weight at all. I wouldn't do them right now in my office.
30-pound kettlebells.
0 pound air. Wouldn't do it.
So, but what I'm saying is it's less about the amount of weight I can move, and it's more about the fact that, like, I don't care if I live or die.
So for me, if you said, give me 100 Marines or 100, I'd still say this girl is going to mop you. If you say, give me 100 left tackles, we're having at least having a conversation then.
Sure. Because that's what I'm saying. That's what, like, it's about like Will Campbell. What did Will Campbell say coming out of the draft, right? I will die for this guy.
Hey, man, he dated his quarterback's sister at LSU, which I did not know until the draft.
Yeah, I knew
That's a dedicated ass lineman right there. That's some protection. And the quarterback's like, yeah, he's a great guy. Dog, how many men in the world would have someone in college dating their sister and be like, nah, full endorsement, love him to death?
Yeah, that's great.
It's a good endorsement.
So I'm just saying, like, you got to have people that are, like, willing to die. Because I keep seeing all these videos about this deep palm, and they're like, well, if you send, like, this wave in, and this, like, wave, no. You know what you have to, here's the number one thing. If you want to win this fight, you know what you got to do? You got to get this thing off his feet. Completely up in the air.
Zero leverage. It can't have leverage. If it has leverage, you're wrapped.
If it's on the ground and it can hold itself down, whether it's arms or legs, it will kill you.
All bodies, 100.
You have to throw everybody at it at the same time, get it off the ground, get it up in the air. And honestly, is there a creek or a stream? Is there a lake near you?
Hey,
let's get it in there.
I will say this. They're thinking about fighting this thing like people. I'm like, go watch videos of ants bringing down a large animal. Like, that's the goal mentality you need to have in this sort of stupid hypothetical.
Just everybody is just like grabbing one handful of flesh the whole time.
Everyone grab a finger. At least distract it. Like, we've got
realistically, like, you're gonna lose and it will kill you and you're gonna die. And you just gotta be happy with that. Like, that's just the reality. You gotta be happy with knowing that, like, you went out. I don't even know if you're fighting the good fight. You're just gonna not be alive.
You went out fighting a fight. Speaking of someone who's fighting
a fight.
Speaking of someone who's fighting a fight in the harsh reality of the light of day. You and I have talked about this since he got the job.
Yeah.
And I want to make something very clear right now off the rip. The lazy of this woman's undermining, ruining this man. That's some lazy trophy shit that we're not going to engage in.
No.
I am going to ask a lot of questions about some things that we're talking about here because they open the door. So for those who don't know what we're talking about, Michael Felder is a football alumni of the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Proud alumni. And his school, in an effort to in this new attention economy, in the new NIL world, decided to raise the profile of their football program by hiring the most winningest coach in NFL history, asterisks. Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick arrived in Chapel Hill. Chapel Bill, we'll talk about that too. And from his arrival, questions have been asked on the football front. And they've been asked about recruiting. They've been asked about the quote-unquote NFL mentality, which a lot of coaches have said they're going to do with their teams in college, differentiators. But it all kind of came to a head this past weekend while you were on Max talking about the late-round draft picks. Bill was on CBS Good Morning doing a soft pedal softball interview that turned out to be anything but. You can find the clips online, but for CBS and their experienced staff to release a clip of Jordan stopping the interview and saying we're not going to talk about how we met illustrates on its face how disruptive the interview was. Felder, talk to me about what are you feeling? Look, dog, this is your account. You're a sports media personality who came out of UNC football. One of your teammates is about to be a head coach in the NFL. How do you feel that the idea was to bring more eyeballs to the university, and clearly that's happened. But for them to go on CBS Morning News, let's just use this example and we'll branch out from there. For them to go on CBS Morning News with nary an SID in sight, for those who don't know, the SID is the Sports Information Director for colleges. They basically control who talks to whom. But for him to show up to the CBS Morning News, 1, with no SID, 2, with no UNC staff, 3, with no UNC gear, but with his girlfriend, who's 24, who we'll talk about later. And that can't, if you're UNC's front off, you can't feel good about this.
So 1, shout out to my boy Ben Johnson.
We're gonna talk about Ben later because shout out to Ben.
I love Ben. Ben is one of the best people.
Great draft. I thought they had a great draft.
I did too. Their recruiting class is top 15 right now. We'll see if that holds up, obviously. And it's a lot of like defensive players and inside offensive linemen, like guards and centers. Yeah,
foundational players.
I love that. Foundational players, yes. So that does make me feel good. Because that's how you build a football team.
Yes.
Everyone that's worried about quarterback,
they don't watch college football. They don't watch college football. That's fine.
It's not even college football. It's football in general. Like, Can you imagine like you work in property management, real estate, the whole deal, right? Can you imagine if you showed up and there was a blank plot and then they just brought a roof? What the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
That's a really good analogy.
Like, what am I supposed to do with this? I need the foundation, which is your offensive line. I gotta have pipes. Your defensive ends and your linebackers. I got a brick facade. I got the brick outside. We need all this other stuff.
I love that this is where you're focusing. This is good.
You gotta have all this, like, to me, like, and I've said this before, but offensive line, that's your foundation.
Right.
Then you get to the brick on the outside, and that's your defensive line. And then the pipes and everything, and the electric, that's your linebackers, that's your safeties, that's your tight ends, running backs are all in there. Then finally you get to your drywall, and that's probably like your backup linebackers, your special teamers. And then you finally get to the finishes, and that's your wide receivers, and that's your.
This is a great example for when people say, "Why doesn't Georgia play receivers?" This is why Georgia plays receivers, because they build the houses.
Yeah, they build them. Yeah, who gives a shit? I don't care. Look, I could get in and out of this room without this doorknob. I could still get in and out of this room.
You're right. You're not wrong. You're right.
And then you put the roof on the top. That's your quarterback. And
finishing touches.
Showing up with the roof before anything else is done, that's insane. Can you imagine, like, if you were building, they were like, "Hey, man, we got your roof ready." How the fuck does that help me?
Can I ask you another question?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any evidence that he intends to coach his team? Do you have any evidence he intends to coach this? Because the June 1st deadline, like the one we all know about,
I don't know. I don't see what I tried to do was redirect and not have to talk about this.
I refuse. No, I
don't know.
I'm not talking about. I don't care about UNC structure. I'm talking about this. They wanted to be a story. That's why they hired Bill Belichick. They wanted eyeballs. Congratulations.
So there's two things. So here's two things. I don't know if it's a story. Outside of how much do you know about this football team?
I know about their coach.
How much do you know about this football team?
I know he hired his son. And I know his wife is breaking down.
Those are the two things that we know about this football team.
Yes.
He wants his son to be the head coach somewhere, so he's trying to give a job to his son, which, look, that's a reality. All of us want to give our kid a job.
Should not be illegal. I think it's pretty illegal in North Carolina.
It's very illegal in North Carolina. You can't do it. They already said no to it. For those that don't know, for people that are listening, we're a will-to-work state, and we are a state where every single public job has to be listed, and they have to interview people for that job. You can't just give the job away. It's not going to happen. And so basically, he was like, yeah, just make my son coach in waiting. And they were like, we can't do that. Like, that's not a thing. Like, don't you think that UNC basketball would have already had a coach in waiting at any of these times? Oh, wait, they never had that? Oh, wow. Why? Because you're not allowed.
So you see people like, well, dude, Duke's a private institution. These are public.
Duke is a private school.
Funds. I want to make sure just everyone keeps track, and you're good.
Yeah, Duke's a private school.
Right.
They don't have the same guardrails that we have. So there's that. But then the other part for me is we know more about the fact that his son wants the job and he wants to give it's basically like gifting like your kid a thing. Like, you want to gift your kid a job? Okay, well, you can't do that. And then you also show up with this, what is she, 24, 25-year-old girlfriend?
24. She is a little bit older than some of these players.
And, dude, I just talking to my teammates, they're like, dude, this is wild.
So before we get into any of this stuff, let's talk about teammates. Let's talk about locker rooms. What is happening in that locker room? Like, because you joke on your coach no matter what, no matter where you are, no matter look, hey, if you're at work, you joke on your boss. When you're a football team, you joke on your boss, you joke on your coaches. When your coach is doing this, all right, story time. So when I was at Columbia, my junior year, we found out that our coach, who Bob Shute, I'll say his name, he was doing some untoward. He was extramaritally acting out in the world.
Sure.
And his wife came to practice and walked down the stadium steps. I've told the story, I think, before. Cussed him out in front of the team. Said, "You'll never see me or your kids again." Walked back at the stadium steps. And you know what this motherfucker did? Blew his whistle and said, "Next period."
Yeah.
So we talked about that. So we gave him hell in the locker room amongst ourselves. We were like, we're not telling anyone about da-da-da. Our parents found out the whole thing. Guy got fired. That's an internal thing at Columbia University. This was on CBS Morning News.
Dude, so it's not like we haven't had our own like full-scale situations at UNC, as you mentioned, like coaches that operate
that's a great point. I want people to know. Shit like interpersonal stuff happens weird on campuses, especially with football teams, all the time.
All the time.
There's too many people involved. The ages are too close. There's stuff.
Yeah.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't always end up on TV.
It doesn't always end up on TV, but there's also coaches that are really good at like using co-eds. Is that the right word?
It's a great word for it.
They're like, they already have relationships with them, and so they use them to help them get recruits and all this stuff. Like, that's a real thing.
Real thing.
So, no, for me in this situation, this isn't about recruiting. This is more about, because if you're looking at the recruiting element, you're looking backwards.
Yes.
Right?
It's a lagging indicator.
I'm looking forwards.
Right.
UNC is a place where we call them blue hairs. And this lady who's 65, 75, right?
Mm-hmm.
And her husband have been donating to the program for years.
Decades.
Yeah, decades. And she's got to deal with a 25-year-old, 24-year-old.
Who is
She
not
has a,
hired, who's not an employee.
not employee. She has
Whose
to deal
interests
with,
are not
but
the
this
same
is the
as
person that she has to go to the scholarship dinner with. Her. It's not the same as Mac Brown.
No.
Mac Brown and his wife, they move as a unit.
But that okay. So I put this on for later, but I want to talk about it now. When you talk about coaches and you talk about successful coaches, particularly in the college ranks, the unit of this is Coach and Mrs. Coach. That's a unit.
Yes, they move as a unit.
Nick and Miss Terry.
Miss Terry.
Look, ain't nobody calling her Miss Jordan. Hey man, like I'm gonna stop clowning on this, but like you know what I'm saying, like there is an element of community and at least projection of values that this flies in the face of.
UNC didn't hire Gus Malzahn because his wife was too super Christian.
Yeah,
they didn't hire Charlie Strong because he's in an interracial relationship.
Yep.
Same thing with Auburn. Auburn didn't hire him because of the same thing.
Yep.
So this stuff does matter
a lot.
And I don't think UNC thought they were going to get into this. And now they're in it. And I don't know if they can get out from underneath it. But also, guess what? Winning is the greatest cure. Winning is the greatest cure. This team comes out and goes 9-3.
He can't win until September. Like you're not wrong. Winning is the cure all. It is.
Yeah. So what are we talking about? It's May, June, July, August. So we got 4 months of what the fuck is this?
Not just what the fuck is this, it's the fact that the UNC football brand is now entirely.
What is the UNC football brand?
Well, right now, it's about an unhired 24-year-old whose interests do not align.
What has it been though?
So we're going from a zero to a net positive or net negative. Like that's.
I just think it's
we can't say something is we can't just say, oh, at least it's something now.
I don't.
At least it's tabloid fodder.
That's the two things where I have friends that are like, well, at least people are talking about us. And I'm like, I don't think that's a good thing.
They keep crashing in planes, but they're talking about value jet.
So I don't know. But it's like the reality for me is like, I look at it and I'm like, if we can get all the way to the season, and then the scary part for me is this a Charlie Weiss situation? Where he stepped into a world that he does not have any experience in, but he thinks he's smarter than everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it either works or it doesn't work, but that's the part where like we got to at least get to there, because if he just takes off and his son somehow gets the job at the at the 11th hour, that's going to be a problem.
And so I think that's my concern. My concern is it's already a problem. It's already an issue. You can point. We talk about lagging indicators as far as recruiting rankings, but at the same time, like, let's go to the Jordan part of it.
Yeah,
this is weird, and people are like, "I'm not going to judge." I am going to judge. There's a 49-year age gap. I'm judging. Oh, you shouldn't. Don't throw stones. My wife ain't 49 years younger than me. I feel comfortable asking these questions. And more to the point, when you say to us, we're not talking about how we met, all you're going to do is let me start to speculate and start to Google. Shout out to Charlotte Wilder. Wilder things, go find her Substack. It's fantastic. A great piece out right now about the politics of power and what's happening in UNC. But another thing that was brought up that I didn't know about is that prior to her dating Bill Belichick, she had a relationship with a 65-year-old wealthy man.
Sure.
And so now when you say we're not going to talk about how we met, all I'm going to do is make up jokes and things that I think might have happened. It's the Streisand effect. And maybe he's too old to know about it and she's too young to know about it. But we tell someone not to talk about some shit, guess what we're going to do? We'll talk about that shit.
Well, we're also talking to a guy that, worked for Robert Kraft, right? So we've already seen his whole situation.
But the thing is, even working with Robert Kraft, you've seen how he handled PR situations. You saw how he handled dealt with situations. You saw him keep his personal shit away from his business. And it's like Bill Belichick has looked up and been like, what about through all these things that I think I know about myself and the way I've conducted myself, and threw out the window? Like when they asked him about the picture of I can't. The pictures of him on social media, like catching her as a mermaid, and he had that shocked look on his face, like, how'd you see that? Like, that's where I'm like, let's ask some more questions, because now, without in the absence of understanding, questions are going to grow.
So here's the thing. I brought up Robert Kraft because the thing for me is Kraft obviously got busted at the massage parlor.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're friends. So
Bob and Bill?
I think they ran in the same circles. I wouldn't say friends.
Yes.
So there's that. But then there's also, like, as you mentioned, the social media stuff, which he's never done before. And now he's like, I guess I have to do this now. So it just is very, I mean, I watched the NFL draft. I don't know if you did, and just saw like her come out and be like, oh, HOTTODO.
She's in the Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know about.
Yeah. So I didn't know about that either. But it's the thing for me, I look at this and I'm not here to shame anyone. I'm not here to make anyone like, you didn't do anything wrong. Like nothing. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that this is an old man who is being pushed into a space to accommodate his young girlfriend. Like that's what I'm just trying to keep it on the.
That's a very fair assessment. That's a very between the lines assessment. Yes.
I'm trying to keep it between the navigational beacons, my man. Come on, Jimmy Buffett. Let's do it. And so I'm not trying to get into does she do this or is she manipulating? No. This is an older man. It's the same as my daughter got a Nintendo Switch 2 weeks ago. Do I think that she needs a Nintendo Switch? Fuck no. I think it's insane. But I have to be someone who's like, okay, well, she has a Nintendo Switch. Now, how do we put like the governors?
Guardrails, yeah.
Guardrails, yes. How do we put the governors on this? Because this can't be a thing that she plays all night. This can't be a thing that she does all the time. And I think that he is, as someone who was married for a long time, someone who has children that are older than his girlfriend.
Who work for him, who answer to her, which, dog.
So, like, what I'm saying, that like I'm trying to take this serious because it's easy to make it a joke, but what I'm trying to say is he is out of his depth with respect to understanding. He is used to. It's not that he's not. Here's the thing. He is used to being around 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 20. He's used to being around people that age. But he's also used to those people having to listen to him.
Right. The power dynamic. I got you.
The power dynamic is different. And now he's trying to figure out, I can't just like control this lady. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't control her. And I want to make her happy. And I'll be honest, dude, like, because I have these conversations with my dad. I have these conversations with my brother. I have these conversations with my friends. Making your partner happy, sometimes it does make you look silly.
Yeah.
Like, if anything from, like, the stupid fucking Christmas picture that she wants to have, or the fall photo, or whatever. Like, and think about this. We're 40, right?
Yes.
We're 40 dating other 40-year-olds.
Yes.
Married to other 40-year-olds.
Yes.
And we have to like deal with that. Can you imagine if you never had to deal with that in your life? And then not 40, right? Take 40 away. Go back down 15 more years. For someone who grew up. She got her first Instagram account when she was what? 13? And you had to deal with that? It's hard. And you're 70, 73 years old. You got to deal with this. So like, I just think that it's a hard spot to be in.
I couldn't have a conversation with a 24-year-old right now.
I had a conversation with an 18-year-old this last weekend.
How'd that go?
It was great. He was an amazing kid.
Good.
He wants to work in generational finance. He wants to work in helping Black people create generational wealth.
Oh yeah.
And he wants to work in finance to create generational wealth for he's from Miami. So it was really cool. Like I'm in the elevator. I look like a slob. I've got on shorts and a t-shirt, and I just want to go get a slice. And
yeah.
And I just want to go grab a slice before I go to bed before day two of the draft. And he's literally like, do you know any good restaurants around here? The hotel restaurants closed. Like, he's like a nice, sweet boy.
Yeah.
He goes to FAMU. And I was like, oh, come on, let's go get a slice. So we go get a slice at the spot across the street from the hotel. He goes, how do you know about this? I was like, oh, I come here all the time. I'm here, like, I'm in New York City, like, routinely, blah, blah, blah. And we talked for 2 hours. And I just actually connected him with one of my old teammates who does some hedge fund stuff and some wealth management stuff. And so it was really cool.
That's
but what
awesome.
I'm saying is like I am more equipped to handle that because we didn't have this power dynamic.
Right.
He was asking me questions. I was answering questions. I asked him questions, and we were able to handle this like whole situation. And I took him out for a slice of pizza. That's very different than you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very different than
here's
that.
my checkbook. Hey, for the record, here's my money. And she started investing in real estate right when they got together. She started scooping up real estate.
Yeah, this is
different.
It's different. And that's the part you have to deal with, and you have to figure it out. And it's also like, she does TikTok. She does Instagram. She does this. He doesn't know any of this shit.
Felder.
His whole fucking shit. Bill Belichick's whole shit is just football.
She's got the Miss Maine pageant this weekend in an effort to become Miss America. She's still a pageant girl.
Well, I can't wait for Donald Trump to like.
Oh, Lordy. Let's move on. You did it. You got me off UNC. Let's talk about the draft experience, man. So you were on air. Was it 2 days or 1 day for you? I just had
2 days.
2 days.
2 very long days.
2 very long days. You in New York, not Chicago, which is always a plus. But I do have to ask, how did the Shedeur thing? We're not going to go too deep into it. How did it reframe y'all's coverage of those days? Did it affect it in a way that you thought was injurious to the product? Because for me, and again, you know me, I was exportation. I love the draft. For me is one of the best weekends of the year because you watch kids' dreams come true. You watch kids who work their entire. And again, I said this before, Shedeur Sanders, by any other metric than the one that they set, that story is a success story. That's a kid who was going to go to FAU to play for Willie Taggart, who ended up drafted in the NFL in the second team All-American. That's a cool story, unless you thought he was the best thing since sliced bread. Did that kind of inform y'all's the way you handled the day?
I mean, we had to talk about it because everybody's talking about it, so we had to. No, the thing for me is, the thing for me, and honestly, it made me reflect a lot back about myself. Because, and I'll show you this right here. Because I got into a huge fight with one of my teammates, like a guy I played football with growing up, a guy that I'd known I met Ryan in 2005. 2005. So 10 years. We've got a 20-year-old friendship.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, he shouldn't have been a jackass when he went into those meetings. And I was like, yeah, but the Vikings were never going to draft him, so who cares? But this is what I realized. And as Ryan and I are on the phone together, this is what I realized. So this is what my notebook looks like.
Okay.
How much writing is on the lines?
None.
Yeah. I don't like people telling me what to do. And what I realized is Shedeur is in a position from a family standpoint. He doesn't need anybody to tell him what to do either. And my friend and I were going back and forth because my friend was like, why didn't he wear a suit? Why didn't he just answer the questions? Why wasn't he like, basically my friend was like, you should capitulate to these guys. And I'm like, why? He doesn't need to. Is he a better quarterback than Curtis Rourke? Is he a better quarterback than Tyler Shuck? Is he a better quarterback than Quinn Ewers? Is he a better quarterback than all these guys?
They don't draft based on who's better. They draft them based on who's got the skill set that they can develop and talent. Like they didn't draft.
That's not what. No, it's not. It's he didn't kowtow to them.
Oh, you and I are going to disagree on this because I think he wasn't a very good football player. I don't think he's a very good football player.
I think he's a good football player.
I don't think he's an NFL starter.
I do.
I think we've seen the top end of his talent. I think he's never going to get better.
Who got better? Who picked before him, quarterback wise, is better than him? Cam Ward and then who?
I don't have the drafts in front of me.
That's fine.
Skills. I'd rather take Jalen Milroe. I'd rather gamble on Jalen Milroe than him.
That's fine. Listen, if you say you're going to gamble on Jalen Milroe,
because that's something that can develop into a starter. This is something talent-wise, skill-wise, arm-wise, size-wise, decision-making, speed-wise that, in my evaluation, never, ever, ever said, "Oh, this is an NFL starter." At no point.
To me, he has so many. I love his skill set. I think that he is. I think there are two things for me. One, I love his skill set in terms of his willingness to stay in the pocket, his evasiveness in the pocket, which I think is good. And I think he is a very accurate thrower of the football. And then again, we mentioned the toughness. And then the other one is this guy doesn't have. Let me put it this way. If I came from a millionaire family, didn't have to play football, I wouldn't play football. I can tell you that. But he wants to. And I think that there should be something there for that, where this is a guy that doesn't need football. He could just go and work with his dad.
You probably end up doing.
I see your face like you don't agree with me, and that's fine. I just think that, I don't think Graham Mertz is better than him.
I think he's a better prospect.
I think Shedeur with his, I think that he's getting knocked because of his dad, and I think he got knocked because.
Well, okay, let's do the other side of it. So for me, I think he's getting knocked because his skill set says, "Hey, this is probably a backup quarterback." When you're a backup quarterback, you say you don't have to capitulate. If your skill set tops out of that from other analysts and not from not from a Deion Sanders who has terrified anyone to cover his son honestly. He went on front of cameras and said, "Hey, if you cover us poorly, I won't speak to you. You won't access this program."
I understand.
And so there's a natural cooling mechanism on any sort of coverage that is critical of his son. He's never played for a coach who was not his father. His father created a situation, said, "Hey, we're going to go to Jackson State. We'll take a bitch over. I'm going to get you the best receiver ever in this class, and you guys are going to grow together. You're going to hitch your wagon to this." It's honestly, and I said this last podcast, it reminds me of Todd Marinovich in that he's creating a ideal situation to prove he can develop a quarterback to X standard. For me, and again, looking back at Deion's history with Prime Prep and anything he's ever done, it's never been about other people. It's always been about a reflection of Deion's.
Totally agree.
And so this is not necessarily a failure of the child. This is a failure of Deion Sanders' ego. That's the victim is his child because he told his child the same reason the Lakers losing last night. Everyone's like, "Oh, the public lost some other money." It's just the public are idiots. The public think that big names and the shiny things and things that are covered the most are necessarily the best. So that's why there was so much confusion, because you had people who don't follow college football parachuting in and being like, "All I heard about all year was Shedeur Sanders. Why wasn't he drafted?" Because what you heard about was what leads the media is not what's going to lead decision-making in a war room or on a football team. If you're going to be a backup quarterback, you've got to be a good hang. That's part of the job. And coming in this way is not a good hang. Coming into a place where you've never been challenged by a coach who you didn't call father is not a good hang. He had a lot of things working against him that were intangible, that his tangibles could not. Cam Ward's a cocky son of a bitch. Cam Ward is that dude. He's earned that. And guess what they did? They took him first overall.
I think that I do think Shedeur is probably a good hang, just for the record.
Not from the kids that left Colorado said, not the kids who weren't scared of his father said.
I think he's no one said anything bad about Shedeur.
They can't, or they won't get access to Colorado. That's my point. No one could in the lead up.
And for me, I think that this is a guy that's willing to hang in the pocket, willing to do his thing. He did everything he could for his football team.
Yes.
I think that his dad, I don't think his dad is a good hang.
I know he's not.
I don't think his dad is a good hang. But I do think that Shedeur is probably a good hang. And the thing for me, and I saw someone say this, they were like, if 7 kids go out from Colorado, right? Or 10 kids go out from Colorado, they go out all night, they hang out. Shedeur picks up the tab, no big deal. He's like, the first 6 kids, no problem. But the other 4, those are the 4 kids that just can't cut it. And those are the kids maybe that you're mentioning that are upset, right?
And again, consider your sources. They're telling you couldn't cut it. And then they
when I say cut it is, I mean, like, he doesn't take care of those last 4.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So to me, I look at it and I just think it's when I watch him play football, I think he's better than a lot of guys that got drafted before him. Just a football standpoint.
I agree. And I think that the game changes when you elevate it to the NFL, and some of the things that would work in college, or that be acceptable or effective in college, would not translate to the NFL.
Well, and that's the thing is, I think he does things that translate to the NFL.
He had over 30% of his passes within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. And
totally agree.
He had the most sacks taken in BCS.
Because
those should not be coherent. Those should not be.
He had the worst offensive line of any of the quarterbacks that got drafted.
And I understand that and I respect that.
And that's on his dad. Just for the record.
I will say that.
Can you imagine putting your kid in that sort of harm's way?
Because he doesn't care about his kids.
Like, that's all I'm saying.
Any of these kids.
That's what I'm saying. So instead of, like, they had guys that weighed 275 pounds playing offensive line. What are you doing? Right? I'm not wrong about that part.
No.
Like, they had guys that should not be playing D1 offensive line playing D1 offensive line. I'm not making an excuse for him. And he did take sacks. But the thing that I saw, and I guess we look at it 2 different ways, and I see it because you're an offensive lineman. What I see, though, is a guy who's willing to hang in to hit that.
He's not fast enough to run away.
No, he's not. No, he's not fast.
He has no choice of hanging in. He has no options. Of course he's going to hang in. What's he going to do? Right. Run?
No, he's not going to run. He can't run. He's not a runner, which that's the other part of the discussion that we haven't even got to, which is he's not a runner.
It's a limited physical skill set, like full stop. Very limited physical skill set.
Is he more athletic than Will Howard?
Will Howard has the arm to make the throws.
That's okay. That's what I'm asking.
But I'm saying those are my 2 big drawbacks for him. If he doesn't have the arm, he doesn't have the athleticism, what am I drafting? A good decision maker?
A good decision maker.
A
game manager.
Me as a coach, I can coach that out of anybody. I need something that's going to elevate my team, elevate my playbook. There's nothing there on that film that says elevation, because all the good Shedeur Sanders highlights are great Travis Hunter highlights. Hang on. Do you think Travis Hunter should play receiver? No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're on the.
No, go on.
Okay, thank you.
Let's make sure. Hey, and for the record, he shouldn't play both ways unless they paid him twice. That's ridiculous.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Hercules.
Double check this, double work.
Are you kidding me? This is insane.
I hope he got double classes in Colorado.
Like, that's insane.
It's so hard to be a lockdown corner in this league. And he's like, I'm going to do that and play receiver. Okay, buddy. But, hey, I love
what did you learn in school?
Okay, so here's the biggest thing, and we're going to move on to wrap this thing up.
Yes.
The biggest thing for me is he is Shedeur Sanders carries himself like a DB.
Yes, he does.
And that's why
Where do you think that would come from?
But that's where you're like, I don't see no problem with this. Because, motherfucker, you're a DB.
Yes, I am.
Of course you don't see a problem with it. Like, that's how you're supposed to act. No.
This is how normal people act. Normal people that play defensive back, we act like this.
If you close your eyes and listen to Shedeur talk about himself, he sounds like name a DB. He sounds like name your number one DB.
Sounds like me.
When he threw the watch to do, I'm like, hey man, this is not quarterback behavior. I'm sorry.
But that's my point is that like they want something different from a quarterback. If he went in there with a suit and just was like, yes, sir, no, sir, blah, 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 he gets drafted earlier. Am I wrong about that?
He is a third rounder. I think I had him in my little stuff I do because I get bored and because I used to do this for a living. I had him pinned in the back of the third, top of the fourth.
Sure, but that's if he goes in and he's like, yes, sir, no, sir.
I did all mine off of pure like athleticism comps, what I thought teams needed. I didn't do any of the interview variables.
Sure, we're on the same page. Yeah. Like we at least can accept that him not needing the NFL and him not doing it like the way that they want him to do it. That was also a factor. That's all I'm trying to say.
Look, man, if all things be equal and one guy's an asshole, I'm not drafting the asshole.
He's not an asshole.
Okay, if he comports himself or behaves in the manner of an asshole, however you want to clean it up, he presented to these people who he wanted to hire him as asshole.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, see, I might as well just text you Ryan's number and just so you guys can talk about this.
What position Ryan play?
Tight end.
Okay, all right then.
7th round draft pick.
I bet he wasn't an asshole in their interviews.
No, he wasn't at all. You're right. That's his whole point.
Because if you got first round talent, I can do that. What was it? Michael Porter Jr. or Dion? Hell, Dion when he had his interview with
that's what I was going to say.
When he was coming out, he went to the Giants. They said, "When are you picking?" 18th. Because I'm not going to be here, and walked out of the interview.
Fuck! I just got another text from a teammate.
What?
He goes, "What do you think about all this goddamn bullshit?"
I'm telling you, dog. You better get 4 months of that. Like you said, we got to make it to September. Dog, you may not make it to the end of the week.
I'm so tired. I got career day for my kids' school tomorrow. I'm just getting texts from people that I haven't talked to in like 6 months.
You're going to be doing hits. You're going to end up on full cat. Oh, is the live show?
I did solid verbal today.
Yeah, this is you just got a secondary career, brother. You are now the launderer of UNC. You focus on the team. Focus on how you build. The way you redirected me earlier, do that.
This is ridiculous, man.
Let's just do some other stuff I saw in the draft. I want to bring.
All right, what do we have?
Ashton Jitney as a Raider. I absolutely love it.
Who? What?
Jitney. Didn't he go to the Raiders?
Oh, Ashton Jitney. Yeah, I love that.
I love that. I love him and Brock Bowers. I love them having a running threat. You've got the probably most dynamic pass catching tight end in the league right now. Back at Shedeur for a second. Hey, Jeff Ulbrich, 21, you can whip your child's ass.
Dude, what a joke.
If he'd been like, my son cost me $100,000, and so I beat the shit out of him. Oh, is he a child? No, he's 21. Because when people said his son made this prank call, I'm thinking 12, 13. I'm thinking child.
Can I just read this to you real quick?
Well, before you do, yes, please read it.
I would like your opinion on all this shit. Dude, this is a nightmare. He said, I agree. Most Carolina football thing ever to hire the best coach of all time and then watch it get destroyed by his 24-year-old crazy eyes girlfriend.
That's what I'm trying to avoid. I don't want to blame her, but she is the largest variable that makes me ask the most questions. You're gonna have a lot of these conversations coming up. I love him being a Raider. Abdul Carter asking for LT's number. How'd you feel about that? I wouldn't ask publicly.
There ain't no way, dog.
There was never going to be a yes, but I wouldn't have asked. Asking in public gets a no in public. I wouldn't have asked. Warren Moon giving Cam Ward number 1, I thought was weird. Not weird, but it's
no, dog. You don't get LT's number.
No.
Like you ask, like that's one of those things, and this is something that my mom always says. You ask stupid questions, you get stupid answers. Like, that's the reality. Like, you look, like, this is no.
And that's all there is
Smoke
to
some
it.
crack. Smoke crack. Show me that you can do that, and then maybe.
And then maybe.
You're not going to smoke. Oh, you're not going to smoke crack?
Then no. Then you can't wear it. I like that. That's good. That's a good litmus test right there. Did you catch the Pacers Bucks game last night?
No, I did not.
Did you catch Tyrese Halliburton's daddy trying to run up on Giannis?
No.
Oh my God! Find the clip
Hang
after
on,
this.
I can find it right now.
Yeah. So Tyrese. So those who don't know, it was a very heated game. It went into overtime. Tyrese Halliburton's father. The Bucks were up 7 in overtime. Like, I legitimately turned the TV off and thought it was over. They had a horrible meltdown. The Bucks did. Giannis has got to leave Milwaukee. We'll talk about that later. But at the end of the game, Tyrese Halliburton's a fan appears to come off the court and waving the towel that's got Tyrese Halliburton's face on it in Giannis's face, talking all kind of cash shit. Turns out that's Tyrese Halliburton's father. And there's a lot that's been talked about, a lot of stuff here, but the reason I brought it up to you is because when you see the clip, you'll see the height differential between Giannis and this man who's trying to antagonize him. Listeners of the show, you will respect athlete size.
People don't respect it at all.
Y'all need to realize, just like the gorilla thing, you might get knocked out by accident. Like, if Giannis was a much less evolved human, he could have hurt the Halliburton family that evening.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Oh no.
Dog.
Oh no.
It can't be this. Like, hey, man.
Are you kidding me?
Dog,
what did this guy think was about to happen?
The entire time I watched the clip, I was like, please don't hit him. Please don't hit him. When I'm saying please don't hit him,
this man's shoulders, Giannis' shoulders are the size of that man's head.
Giannis is such a big human being, and I think we all lose track of how sizable these athletes are. But I need y'all to, you better do this or I'm gonna lose my parlay. You need to take the base out of your voice.
So there's a couple things. He would have. That man could have been. His head could have been squashed like a grape. And no, what I was going to bring up is, I was listening to a podcast. I was talking to friends. And they're like, and yeah, he was like a beefy dude. He was like 5'9", 190. And I was like, what? What the fuck is that?
Our gauges are off on the size of people. Like,
that's what I've realized is our gauges are completely off. Because I don't even remember who I was talking to. Somebody here in my neighborhood. And they're like, yeah, 5'9", 190. And I'm like, that's a small man. That's a little man. He's little. He's a little man. He's a little one.
Tiny guy.
He's small. I just got back from doing the NFL draft. That's little.
Yeah.
Hang on, you know that you've been an agent before. You've covered the draft. You know this. If someone is 5'9", 190, you're like, oh man.
That's a waiter. That's someone working the draft. That's someone actually physically working.
It's a cater. You cater.
You busting tables. What are you talking about?
BB guys. You better run a 4.3.
Hey, you know what this means? You know this happened to me this week, literally this week, though.
Yeah.
Someone in my life sprained their wrist, and I told them the truth that it took me till I was about 28 or 29 to realize that people had surgery for things that didn't happen on a sports field. I was like, wait, you just fell walking and you had to have surgery? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. What are you talking about?
Yeah, dude. Hang on. So you 5'9", you tripped off your stoop, and now you got to wear a brace?
Dog, you had surgery? For what? I fell. Okay. On the who hit you? No, you just fell. You just walked.
Do you not know this story about me?
No.
That I fell?
We're gonna do that. We're gonna after this, but I do need to hear this story.
I went to the Jordan Invitational with my dad.
Okay.
Went to go watch some hoops. We had good seats. Shout out to my man Miller Yoho. We had access to the VIP, and so we're just drinking and hanging out and having a good time. I stepped wrong off the curb and rolled my ankle.
Yeah.
That's already a problem for most people.
Yeah, it stinks.
I slammed my skull onto the street.
Yeah.
Blood everywhere. Had to get helped up. So I go from, I'm not going to say it. I'm 5'10" and change.
That is.
You've seen me. You know how tall I am. I am not 5'10", but I say 5'10" and change.
I say 6'1".
Yeah.
I'm not 6'1".
No, you're 6'2". Plus.
I just don't want to have an argument. I'm 6'1".
I don't have an argument either. I say 5'10" and change, even though I know that I'm like this far from being 6 foot tall.
This is very funny.
I just shave a whole inch off of how tall
I don't want to have the conversation.
So I go from that 5'10" and change to plus the curb 5 inches, slam my head. Oh no, this is bad. My dad and I get in an Uber. We go to my house. My dad's like, your problem now.
Yep.
To my wife. And I'm like, that didn't feel great. And then I wake up the next morning. My dad and my wife bandaged my head. It's all good. Yeah. There's like blood. It's all good. And I get up and I just have a normal day.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you want me to do? She's like, did you go to the hospital today? And I was like, no, I want to go to the hospital. I hit my head on the ground. What are they going to do? Say I hit my head on the ground?
And send you home. And give you a bill. With a bill.
There's nothing I can do. Like, what are we doing? Like, I'm fine. And that's where the I'm fine thing is like, you can't just say you're fine. I'm like,
I can't. She's never listen to this episode.
She's never going to listen to it. I'm like, I'm fine. I woke up in the morning, did everything I was supposed to do, did a show, got work done. Like, I'm fine. And I just think that, like, other people aren't fine. Like, I broke my thumb, and I was like, what are they going to do? There's nothing they can do. Got my ribs broken. There's nothing you can do.
I was in D.C. The last thing we're going to get out of here. I was in D.C. The second of the Avengers Endgame came out.
Yeah.
And MTR, we're doing a lot. We rented out a theater. We had a bunch of listeners in there, and we did a live podcast afterwards. So I fly up from Atlanta. And I'm getting out of the cab to go to the venue.
Yeah.
And it was an older cab, and the door swung open and swung back, and it creased my head. You can't actually see it anymore through the camera.
Mm-hmm.
But it busted my head wide open. I was bleeding heavily on the streets of DC. I went to a CVS, got some bandages, super glued some bitch up, and got band-aids for it. My best friend lives in DC at the time, and he was at the event. And so he texts Susan and was like, hey, Daniel hit his head. I think he's okay, but I just wanted you to know. He knew I wasn't going to tell her. And she said, send me a picture. So he sends a picture of me in front of this room talking about this stuff, covered in bandages and blood on my shirt and shit. And she's like, oh my, I'm like, stop.
It's fine.
It's fine. That was. She's like, do you have a concussion? I go, I don't think so. I've had concussions. I didn't feel like concussion. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. It's just like, look, at a certain point, like there's a limit to what, if I think I broke a finger like a year ago, and I was just like,
dude, I almost cut my finger off. I told you about that.
I wasn't going to bring it up. I really wasn't.
And I'm like, it's fine. And I literally, I did have to go to urgent care because I couldn't stop the bleeding. So I go to the urgent care, and I looked at the lady straight up, dead ass, straight up in her face. And I was like, would it be easier if we just cut it off? And she goes, huh? And I was like, if you just cut it off,
would that be faster and easier for everyone involved?
Then I could go home and finish making dinner. If you cut it off and cauterize it, like I'll be done. And she's like, that's your like solution? And I was like, have you ever heard of Ronnie Lott?
Occam's razor, baby.
Like, she's like, no, we're gonna try one more time to do the liquid glue. And I was like, lady,
for the record, listeners, if they're gonna put liquid glue on you at the urgent care, just grab super glue. Just grab it.
Yes.
Felder didn't have any. That's why we're here. That's
the only reason I had to go. But like literally, like just cut it off. I don't care. I'll look like fucking Lee Van Cleef out this month. I don't care. That's fine.
Tell everyone where they can find you.
Check out the Substack. It's felder.substack.com and follow me on Blue Sky in the bleachers. Follow me on Twitter in the bleachers, or X, I guess is what we call it now. And then obviously on Instagram, it's Felder. But yeah, like I'm not. This isn't a joke. Like I know folks think I'm doing like a bit, but the reality of it is like if I could have got out of there 20 minutes earlier with my finger cut off, would it be wild for my wife to see me with just like this, like a little guy? Sure. But would I have been happier? Absolutely.
But will the next 4 months have been a good way to distract from Bill Belichick? He'll show people your finger? I don't know.
Yeah. Dude.
I'm DPalm. Follow me on Twitter or Blue Sky. I guess I sold the account, so at DPalm66. Also on Instagram at DPalm66. Make sure you check out Life, Love, and Real Estate on all your podcast devices, including this here YouTube device. We'll be back next week with some more stuff. If anyone's in New York this weekend, holla at your boy. I'll be up there, hopefully trying to check out the Evening Jones Friday night, and then I'll be out and about on Saturday. That was your show. There is no outro. See you guys next week.